guys, the Super Review Show here for this Batman versus Superman review. That's right, the second 2016 movie review of this year. So, look, this is going to be an all spoiler-filled video about what happened in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. All spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, get your ass out to the theater and go see the movie because it's that damn good. I know that people have been saying, like, oh, it was mixed, it was bull. Okay? Go see this movie. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience because it's Batman and it's Superman on screen for the first time together ever. Go see the movie. That's why I say this is going to be spoiler-filled. So if you have not seen this movie, the movie yet, go see it and then watch this video. But if you don't care about spoilers, watch away. Okay? Letting you know. Just warning. So, this movie here, we're going to go through the cast and then we're going to go through the plot points. And then I'm going to give my review. So here we go. Okay, so this movie starred Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne Batman, Henry Cavill as Clark Kent Superman, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. It also, believe it or not, starred Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and Holly Hunter as Senator Finch. She played a very major role. You would think, well, she actually played a major role. And Jeremy Irons as probably one of the best Alfreds we've ever had. So just to let you know, I think he's one of the best Alfred we've had. So that's the cast. That's the main cast rundown. That's not secondary characters. That's the primary characters right there. So here we go. So that's the cast. Now let's go through the plot points of this movie. Basically, so look, the movie opens up with the Metropolis scene, with the destruction of it, and Superman is beating the hell out of it. It's the ending of Man of Steel is the beginning of this movie, essentially. And it shows not Batman going throughout the city, but Bruce Wayne trying to rescue people out of his building. Because as it turns out, the building that Zod and Superman originally shot their laser eyes around in was actually Wayne Tower in Metropolis, like the Metropolis version, the Metropolis division of Wayne Tower. So that just pissed off Bruce immediately. He was saving people. Some guy got his legs cut off, which plays a fairly significant underlying story arc throughout the movie. He's only in this one movie though, so that's the difference. And it opens up where Man of Steel directly left off. Like not him. Clark Kent works at the Daily Planet. Him and Lois actually have a thing now. They're kind of a thing as of now. There's Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor wants to get a hold of the kryptonite and not the kryptonite. He wants to get the hold of General Zod's body, access to the alien ship, because it turns out the alien ship that landed in Metropolis is actually still in Metropolis. It's just in a big dome, essentially. They've concealed it off, and only the government officials can go into it. And Lex wants access granted to that. He also wanted access to, he wanted access to the General Zod body itself. And I was like, what does he want that for? And I'm like, oh, probably Doomsday, as you saw in the trailer. So that's probably like the first 40 minutes of it. Then you go into like how Batman is getting more and more, and you see Ben Affleck play Batman like no one has ever played Batman before. He showed the actual like fighting. He showed the Michael Keaton. Like the way I look at it was he was more of like a combination of Keaton and Bale together. He was physical like Christian Bale. Well, I couldn't say Christian Bale was very physical at all in the Dark Knight trilogy, but that's me. And Michael Keaton was very smart. He had his smart moves and stuff like that. And so Bruce Wayne, Ben Affleck probably watched Batman and the Dark Knight trilogy he watched Batman, Batman Returns, Dark Knight trilogy to kind of infuse himself and understand how to play Bruce Wayne / Batman in this new DC cinematic universe. Because don't forget, Wonder Woman is in this movie. Aquaman, believe it or not, is in this movie. And Flash is in the movie. The Flash is in the movie as well. All this stuff. Cyborg makes a I'll get to him. Don't worry. Actually, really quick. I'll get to it. But so you have Batman. Ben Affleck probably studied those movies and tried to infuse both aspects of the character of Batman into his own acting personality. So he was able to do that, and I really think that doing that was a great move, because I'm going to say it right now. I've been saying it since probably to my friends, and they're like, "No, Bale's better, Bale's better, Bale's better." They're all going to shut their mouths because after they go see this movie. Because Ben Affleck is Batman. This does not exist anymore. This movie now proves that Ben Affleck is the Batman, the quintessential Batman, the Batman that I've wanted, and I'm sure many other people have wanted too, forever. People have been waiting for this type of Batman forever. And to get him in this movie as Batman, it was a brilliant casting move, and it was a brilliant performance of Ben Affleck as Batman. Henry Cavill as Superman, he just carried over all of his weight from the first movie. He did a great job in Man of Steel. But jumping over to this movie, he nailed it as well. One of the things I was interested in was the chemistry between Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. How are these two guys going to play off each other very well? And they killed it. They killed themselves, working out, they're doing body lifts. They're all working together. The chemistry on screen between the two of them is marvelous. It's incredible. Eventually, long story short, they get to a point where Batman is eventually fighting Superman, and the fight between Batman and Superman has to be in the discussion of what greatest superhero fights of all superhero movies ever. Like, from Adam West to Christian Bale, or Adam West to Robert Downey Jr. Has to be one of the best fights for a couple reasons. Because number one, it's Batman and Superman. The two greatest superheroes of all time clashing. Phenomenal. The fact that, you see this in the trailer too, Batman blocks Superman's punch. And that fight between the two of them, as Batman is ready to stab Kal-El with a kryptonite spear, he's like, "I'm ready to kill you." He wasn't. I wouldn't say kill, but he just wanted to end this guy because he saw the damage. He said this. He said something to Alfred in the Batcave at one point in the movie. He's like, even if there's a 1% chance that he is our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute 100% certainty, and we have to take him out. So he was like, this guy's a bad guy. We have to stop him. But the one thing, so Batman's got him, right? His foot is on his Superman's neck, and he's ready to kill his face with the kryptonite spear. And he's ready. He's got this. And next thing you know, actually, I don't really want to reveal it because I want you guys to experience it on your own. So I'm not going to say why Batman stopped from stabbing Superman. I'm not going to tell you why. It's truly a great experience for you to see that. So I'm not going to go into that, but you guys can check it out because it was actually very touching. I started to tear up a little bit of how touching it was to find out why that made. I was like, oh my god, I never would have made that connection before. Now that connection's been made, there you go. So, other aspects of the movie, and then eventually, as the trailer kind of suggested, Doomsday is after they fight. Wonder Woman kind of comes out and she's like, because during the movie, Gal Gadot as Diana is actually playing playing it cool, like, oh, I can do whatever I want because I'm Wonder Woman, but she doesn't. You don't know that she's Wonder Woman until the ending, near the end of the movie. There's a great fight scene with Wonder Woman and Doomsday. It's you saw in the trailer where it's like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman have to team up to fight Doomsday because Lex Luthor, during all this time, had taken General Zod's body and morphed it into like a weird hybrid type guy, and now it's Doomsday. It was an incredible thing to watch, to just see it happen in front of you. And the battle between Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Doomsday is spectacular. The military, as always, the military goes in first, and they're like, "I think we got it," and the next thing you know, they explode. Batman and Superman, Wonder Woman eventually stop him. Wonder Woman's like, believe it or not, Wonder Woman's actually really strong. I never would have, until you actually see the movie, Wonder Woman's actually very strong. She's a very, very, very powerful character. I never realized how powerful she was until I saw this movie. So, but there's that, and then, since this is spoilers, I'm only hesitant though to tell you what the last, like the late third act of the movie is. I'm hesitant to tell you what it is, but you've come this way, you've come this long throughout this video so far. I'm gonna tell you it. So in the process of taking down Doomsday, since he's a Kryptonian, the Kryptonian spear could go through him. So Superman eventually finds the Kryptonian spear. He shanks Doomsday right in the chest, goes right through him. But as he does that, Superman gets stabbed as well. Superman, because Doomsday is a Kryptonian, he can do it. He stabs right about here, right? The heart's on the right side, so it's like right here. Right through, and he's like, oh, and he's screaming and stuff like that. And he is like in pain, and he died, essentially. He died, essentially, is what I'm saying. Henry Cavill Superman died saving his world because of a threat that was made just for him. And yes, so Doomsday is what I'm saying is that the comic book storyline, Death of Superman, is a factor into this, where Superman dies, but as the last scene of the movie, I kid you not, but like right before the credits, the last scene is after the funeral ceremony. They bury him in Kansas, where he started, on Earth, I should say. They buried him in Kansas, and he basically was just sitting there. And no, he wasn't sitting there. He was in the box. But Lois was there, and she took the dirt, and she took some dirt and she sprinkled it on his coffin. As you hear the Hans Zimmer score fade in, the dirt starts to shake, rise up, and then that's where the film ends. That's where the film ends. Batman vs. Superman ends with that one scene. And I'm like, well, I mean, look, that is insane. So what I just told you is pretty much the bulk of the movie. That's the whole movie right there. It's insane. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to tell you why Batman stopped fighting Superman, though. That's up to you. Go see the movie. I want you guys to check that out because it's a very touching moment. And this just is unbelievable. And it's like, look, I can talk about this movie for the next hour if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. So that's the major plot points. Also, one other thing I want to touch on really quick was that Bruce Wayne sends information to Wonder Woman, or Diana at the time, and he says to her, there's stuff coming, there's these other people in the world, and they got into hiding because of what they have. Because LexCorp actually retrieved a bunch of footage of these superhuman beings, and essentially Wonder Woman was one of them, and the other three were the Flash. It showed Ezra Miller as the Flash zipping through, because there's a gunman at the store, right? And then and he knocks him out. Then he grabs his milk, starts drinking. There you go. So he stopped the robbery, and she's like, "What? That guy can go so fast." She didn't say that, but that's her expression on her face. Cyborg, Ray Fisher is Cyborg. I was like, how are they gonna put him in? They put him in perfectly, and they did that, and that was it showed how Cyborg's dad, Victor Stone's dad, was putting his son back together after the explosion. And it showed how it kind of, how he morphed. And it was really, really cool. And the last one was Jason Momoa's Aquaman. Just like in the ocean. And she's like, as she's watching it, you see the camera go underneath and you see Aquaman with his trident. And he's like, and he just like, he stops the camera and he books off. I will say that all three characters looked phenomenal in their costumes. Ezra Miller wasn't in his costume though. Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Victor Stone as Cyborg, Ray Fisher as Cyborg, were getting their costumes, or if not in their costumes, their superhero costumes. But believe it or not, there's a really quick before we get to the rating. There's another scene. Actually, two things. There's this one and there's nothing. There's a scene in the movie where Batman is in a dream sequence, and the Flash Ezra Miller shows up, and he's in the dream, and he's like, Lois can get you to Superman, blah blah. But what really stuck out to me about that scene was that his costume, his suit, was so technologically there. It was like so technologically built. It wasn't like for those who watch the CW's Flash, it was not the it's a leather outfit with it's not that, it's a robotic, it's metal. It looks like an Injustice Gods Among Us type costume. It's a much more tech based, as I did a video on. So there's that, and the last thing I want to mention, and that yes, this is kind of like the teaser for the next movie that comes out next year, which is Justice League. It turns out that the villain in Lex Luthor's house, he turned to paint. The one thing he touched, because his father's house, he didn't want to touch anything. He turned his father's painting upside down. He says to show that, hey, devils don't come from hell beneath us. No, they come from the sky. That being said, one of the things that he showed was Darkseid in the painting, a Darkseid looking like figure coming down from the sky. Thus, this was near the end of the movie too, as the FBI is going there, like, hey, what's that? And then So word has it that Darkseid is on his way. Darkseid is on his way to Earth, and the JLA is going to have to assemble. So there you go. Maybe even Suicide Squad can help him out. Who knows? But so, long story short, that is the bulk. The last three things I mentioned are not that important. But what I told you before, the whole story, that's the movie. That's really the movie. So if you didn't really want to watch the movie, you could go see this review. But I'm not gonna lie, this movie is so much fun. Now let's get to the rating part, which you're probably like, oh my god, finally. But yes, the rating, I'm going to give this movie. When I walked out of it, I said this is one of the best movies I've probably ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm going to give it a 9, hear me out, a 9.9 out of 10. Yes, it was not perfect, but it was as close as it was going to get to perfect for me. For me, at least. Some people are like, it was okay. This movie for me is maybe one of the best comic movies of all time. I'm no doubt in my mind. I simply said, the moment I walked out with my friend, I said, it's better than the Dark Knight. It's better than the Dark Knight. It's better than the Dark Knight. That's the first words that came out of my mouth when I stood up from my chair. I'm like, that was better than the Dark Knight. It was the first thing I said. As the credits began to roll, that was the first thing I said. And I agree with that statement that I said. It is better than the Dark Knight. I think it may be better than the whole trilogy, personally. Sorry, Dark Knight trilogy, cult fans. This movie kicks your ass so hard. Because from so many things, from Batman to Superman to how they teased the Justice League. They didn't push it. They resisted a lot. But they definitely dropped some stuff to tease the next movie. Wonder Woman. They set that up too. I'm not going to tell you how, but they set that up. They did so much in this movie. Both A, telling a story, and B, setting up a movie. So setting up a universe. This movie set up a universe, but at the same time, it stuck to its core, which was Batman fighting Superman. That was the core. And as the movie went on, they dropped more and more. So as the movie went on, and you kind of bought into it, they built it up. Yes, it's better than The Dark Knight. Christopher Nolan, okay? You're done. This is better than the Dark Knight trilogy. I'm saying it right now. 9.9 out of 10. suck it. I'm telling you right now, suck it. Because this is one of the best movies I think I've ever seen in my lifetime. Look, I've gone on and on and on and on and on about this, but I want to let you know that that's my thoughts on this. So, look, I know I told you a whole lot, like a 20-minute video, but look, go see Batman versus Superman. It is so much fun and incredible stuff. It's so good. It's so good. Go see it. If you don't see it, I'm going to find you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to find you. But you know what I mean? Go see it. I had a better time watching this than I did Star Wars. There you go. I said it. Maybe not that far. But, it's that good. I'm getting sick just talking to this. So, look. For this Batman versus Superman review, for the Super Review Show, I'm Batman, and Superman just lost.